Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, we're diving into a legal showdown that could reshape the landscape of healthcare in America. Picture this, a Monday morning in New York where a county clerk made a seemingly small decision that has ignited a colossal constitutional battle. Here's what's happening. Texas's Attorney General obtained a six-figure judgment against a New York physician who never set foot in Texas, arguing she violated Texas's abortion ban by mailing pills to a Texas address. A New York clerk refused to enforce that judgment because New York has a shield law protecting in-state providers who deliver health care that's legal in New York, even if an abortion ban state says otherwise. Texas sued the clerk. New York's AG moved to defend both the clerk and the shield law. Now, why does this matter? Well, it's not just about one doctor. This is about the very boundaries of state power, especially after the Dobbs decision. For those of you who are still unfamiliar with the Dobbs case, that is the case where the U.S. Supreme Court overturned its own decades-old precedent in Roe v. Wade by declaring that abortion is not a protected right under the U.S. Constitution. So now the questions are as follows. Can Texas enforce its laws across state lines? And how does New York protect its healthcare providers? These questions are at the heart of a much larger conversation about reproductive rights and state authority. Let's break this down. The legal map runs through three landmarks. First up, we have the full faith and credit clause of the Constitution. States ordinarily must respect each other's civil judgments. But there's a deep carve-out. No state has to enforce another state's penal laws. Judgments meant to punish rather than compensate. The Supreme Court said as much in the late 19th century, and modern doctrine still treats penal orders as non-exportable. If Texas's award functions as a penalty for conduct legal in New York can refuse to give it effect. Expect Texas to argue its order is a civil judgment, not a penalty. Expect New York to answer that it punishes a New York Lawful Medical Act and is therefore exactly the kind of out-of-state penalty the Constitution lets them reject. Then there's personal jurisdiction. Texas claims it can bind the New York doctor because she prescribed to a Texas patient. But New York argues that the telehealth consultation took place entirely within its borders. If Texas wins this argument, could it mean that any state could impose its laws on providers in other states? That's a slippery slope. Last but not least, there is the legal rule around extradition. Some abortion ban state cases dangle criminal exposure. But extradition requires a fugitive, someone who was present in the demanding state when the crime occurred and then left. Courts have long recognized that a person who was never in the state isn't a fugitive for extradition clause purposes. Shield laws exploit that gap. New York won't arrest or extradite a provider for lawful in-state care when the provider never set foot in the abortion ban state. Texas's lawsuit against the New York clerk tries to sidestep extradition and go straight at civil enforcement in New York courts, and that's why this test case matters so much. Finally, we have to consider the federal angle. After Dobbs, there's no federal constitutional right to abortion, but the FDA still regulates medication abortion. So even if states restrict their use, the drugs remain federally approved. This creates a complex web of laws and regulations that could lead to even more legal battles. So, what's likely to happen? Many experts believe New York's shield law will hold up in court. But if this case reaches the Supreme Court, we could see a landmark decision about whether states can decline to enforce another state's penalties. The implications are enormous. A victory for New York could lead to a two-track America, where abortion is illegal in some states but accessible through telehealth in others. On the flip side, if Texas wins, we might see a chilling effect on telehealth providers, making it harder for patients in abortion-banned states to access care. The stakes are high, and the outcomes could redefine how healthcare operates across state lines. So, as we watch this case unfold, one question lingers. When healthcare crosses state lines, who really holds the power? Is it the doctor, the patient, or the laws of the states involved? Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. How do you think this case will impact healthcare in America? Let's discuss.